The heart's journey, love, failure, and glory. I once thought love was a fairy tale, the kind of love you read about in books, the kind that makes your heart race and your world feel brighter. I was young then, full of dreams, eager to believe in the purity of affection, the kind of love that sweeps you off your feet. And for a while, I truly believed I had found it. Her name was Emma. She had this way of looking at the world as if she could see something beautiful in everything. I loved that about her. She saw the stars in the mundane, the poetry in the everyday. Our conversations lasted for hours, and when we weren't talking, just being in the same room felt like the most intimate thing in the world. There was a kind of magic to it, a spark that ignited everything around us. In the beginning, love was easy. It was effortless. We laughed at the same jokes, shared the same passions, dreamed the same dreams. I remember our first date, how she looked under the soft glow of the streetlights, her smile lighting up the dark like a beacon. I felt as though I had discovered something sacred, something rare. The world felt right. In those moments, I thought nothing could ever come between us. I thought love was enough. But as the months passed, the magic began to fade. Just a little at first. At first, I didn't notice. Too caught up in my own world, in the whirlwind of emotions. But slowly the cracks began to show. I don't think either of us wanted to see them, but they were there, undeniable. We started arguing over little things we had never argued about before. The silence between us grew longer, deeper. It wasn't anger. It was more like a quiet sadness that settled over everything. We drifted without even realizing it. I don't know when exactly it happened, but one day, love seemed to be gone. It wasn't dramatic. There wasn't a single fight that ended it. It was just gone. There was nothing left but emptiness, a hollow space where something once bloomed. I remember sitting across from her, and though she was still physically there, it felt like she had become a stranger. The words we exchanged were now mechanical, like scripts we had memorized. Neither of us was the person we had been at the start. Our love, once so full of light, had turned cold. I couldn't understand it. How had we gone from that passionate, all-consuming love to this? I searched for answers, but none came. Emma and I broke up quietly, almost as if it had been inevitable. And even though I told myself it was the right thing, I couldn't shake the feeling of failure. It felt like I had failed love. Or maybe love had failed me. In the weeks that followed, I tried to ignore the pain. I threw myself into work, into distractions, anything to avoid confronting the emptiness that seemed to follow me. I thought I could just push the hurt aside, forget about it, and move on. But the more I tried to avoid it, the more it consumed me. I would lie awake at night, replaying everything over and over again in my head. Every word, every moment we shared, trying to pinpoint where things had gone wrong. But there was no answer. No simple solution. I remember one night, walking alone in the rain, feeling completely lost. I wasn't crying, but my heart felt as though it had been broken into 1,000 pieces. I had loved, and I had failed. The person I thought I was had been shattered by the very thing that once gave me life, and I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't know if I could ever love again, or if I even wanted to. That's when something strange happened. I met someone, not in the way you might think, but in the quiet stillness of my own mind. I don't know how to explain it, but during that lonely night, I began to understand something I hadn't before. The pain, the loss, the emptiness. It was all part of the journey. I realized that love wasn't some perfect fairy tale thing. It wasn't always about passion or magic. It was about growth, about learning, about becoming something more than you were before. Love hadn't failed me. It had simply shown me a truth I wasn't ready to face, that it's not the love itself that defines us, but how we rise from its challenges. Love, in all its forms, is a mirror. It reflects not just the beauty of the connection between two people, but also the flaws, the fears, and the vulnerabilities we often hide. And in that mirror, I had seen not just a relationship unraveling, but my own insecurities, my own fears of being abandoned, of not being enough. I had never considered how love could glorify us, how it could be a force of transformation. I had thought it was only about the good moments, the moments when everything felt right. But now I saw that love's true power lies in its ability to shape us, to help us confront the parts of ourselves we would rather ignore. And in that process, we become more resilient, more compassionate, more whole. It was a long journey, and I won't pretend that it was easy. Healing never is. But slowly, I started to forgive myself, to let go of the guilt that had kept me trapped. I began to see the beauty in the lessons that love had taught me, even in its failure. I saw that love, at its core, isn't about perfection. It's about becoming more than you were before, even when it hurts. In the end, love did glorify me, but not in the way I had expected. It didn't glorify me by giving me a perfect partner or a perfect relationship. It glorified me by showing me that even in failure, I was capable of growing, of learning, of becoming someone who could love more deeply, more authentically. And maybe that's the real magic of love, not the fairy tale, but the transformation that comes from learning to love in the face of imperfection. We all face moments of failure, moments when we think we are broken beyond repair. But if we allow ourselves to grow, to embrace the pain as part of the process, we find that love doesn't just heal us. It makes us stronger, wiser, and more capable of loving again. So as I stand here now, I can honestly say that love didn't fail me. It simply taught me that love is not a destination, but a journey that, even in its most painful moments, has the power to glorify us. And in that, there is something beautiful, something sacred, something worth holding on to.